Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, Superman and Lois has been doing really well, but of course, we can't have nice things. Um, One of the writers from the first season, Nadria Tucker, has been in the press saying a lot of bad things. Now, first off, just the ratings are doing really well. In its 7 days of streaming, the pilot did 3.25 million, which is a lot more than Supergirl has gotten down to and Batwoman is up to. They're getting less than a million. They're getting 600,000. I did a video on Batwoman's ratings, and it actually dropped because they hadn't done the final adjustments, but I assumed it's not going to change much, and it actually dropped. So it's dropped below 500,000 now, below 500,000. So that's really bad. But Superman had 1 point something for the initial on the night ratings, and then the initial streaming sort of bumps it up, and it actually raised by 86% in additional days TV view streaming and that, and got a 0.76 rating with people under 50. So it's doing really well. It's being really well received, and I really enjoyed it. But I did notice a couple of things, and I thought, oh no, someone's going to talk about this. I sort of noticed that the only people of colour on the show, there was a black guy and an Asian guy, and they were both on the football team, and they're both the bad guys, the bullying the white guy from the Kent's son, because the other Kent's son kissed the black guy's girlfriend. So it's understandable. He's not a villain so much, although the other villain of the piece, the Lex Luthor from the future other dimension or whatever, he's black as well, and I'm like, it's not a good look when your only bad people are black. But he's not a traditional villain where he's actually trying to save the world from a Superman he believes will turn evil like the one did in his universe. So he at least has some dimension. I'm not sure, he's not really a villain or an anti-villain or anti-hero. I'm not quite sure what he is, because I don't know the comic character enough to really know what he is. But the jock guy, he's probably going to calm down, and he'll be redeemed, because he's not just inherently bad. He's this guy kissed his girlfriend. Naturally, any character is going to react like that. Any male character that is traditionally masculine is going to do that. So I'm not quite so worried about that. And also, I don't know how that was worked out. Like, when they cast that character, did they know he was going to have this fight with the Kent sons at the beginning, and he was going to, maybe they were going to establish him first, and as a good guy, and then they would kiss, and then he'd get angry or whatever. So who knows how that came up. But the issues with Nadria Tucker, I'm not sure how to say her name, basically she was brought on the first season, and right away she started complaining because it was all too white. There wasn't enough representation. She wanted to change the Kents into black or Asian because they're adoptive parents, so why can't there be another race, blah, blah. Well, because they're kind of this old school couple from the Midwest or whatever, Smallville, traditionally they're white people, so that's why not? So I can understand where that went. And also, they're barely in the first episode. We see Mr. Kent die, so he's in I think 2 shots and then he's dead. And then Mrs. Kent has 2 scenes, and then she's dead, which is sad, because of 3 if you count her body, because I actually liked her, and I thought, oh, she's going to be a nice Martha, because they, family, paternal, blah, blah, but no. So I think when you consider all the drama that would have come from recasting them as a different race versus the fact they're only going to be in less than 1 episode, I can see why they wouldn't want to recast, because why have all that drama over a character who's not going to be around enough for the representation to mean anything. So if they change them to an Asian adopted couple or a black adoptive couple, they'd be in it for about a minute and be gone, and some people might even say, oh, they've buried their Asians, or they've buried their blacks, or I don't know what the equivalent would be for burying your gays. You create a character that's diverse, and then you kill them right away, so you don't actually have to have them on the show. Worry about all the issues with the racists and the actual racists. Yes, I do put them in different categories. That's a whole other video. So, yeah, so she wasn't happy because she also said, there was no black characters, and the woman's POV was bad. Like, basically there were no episodes based on Lois, even though she's the second half of, the title. That they didn't pass the Bechdel test or whatever. Like, apparently that's where they have to. There's all these rules how to basically classify a real female character, which is she doesn't talk about men. She has her own sort of life, own activities. I can't remember. I heard the specifics of it once, but so she was pushing for that. She was pushing for a lot of things to change. People weren't happy with her, and they also supposedly weren't happy with the quality of her writing, and they let her go at the end of the season. So she's complaining that she was fired. She wasn't quite fired. She just wasn't brought on for the second season. She was able to sit out the whole first season. Sit out is probably the wrong term. She apparently was actively working on stuff. And she does have credit for the show, but she's turned around and she's basically saying, I hate it, there was too many Me Too jokes. Like I said, all the black characters were villains and the only Asian character is sort of looks like his sidekick. And, the female characters didn't have their own episodes. Out of 18 episodes, I think she worked on, she wasn't happy with any of them. And I did notice it myself. I was going to mention it in my video. I sort of said, I'm not going to go into it. I was hoping no one had said anything. I'm like, please let this show just get a pass for the good writing and everything, and the fact that it's realistic. I mean, no one's complaining, and someone pointed this out, no one's complaining that there weren't any white people in Wakanda, because that's that place. It's all black people, and a lot of the Midwest is white people, and there were black people. One of the firemen, who is a friend of the Kents, he's black. It's probably his kid. I wasn't paying enough attention. Now it's a little bit token, but I've got a feeling the percentage is not high. And the other issue, which they said, was that the percentage of black actors in Canada or wherever they're filming, Canada, I always say Canada, isn't high, so they'd have to ship someone in. It was like too much hassle or effort. She said that was BS. And I'm like, well, I don't know, but I don't know if this is sour grapes because she got fired, because basically she said she put forward a lot of ideas and they knocked back her ideas and said that her quality of writing wasn't up to par and they just didn't want her to come back. And she's saying it's because she was pushing for diverse and representation issues and they weren't interested in that. Now, some of that could be true, but it does sound like she was just pushing things that didn't fit, like changing the Kents when they're a very traditional part of the show, and then they're only going to be a small part of the show, so it's just be a stunt, and then it's not going to achieve anything except annoy the traditionalist fans, and no new people coming in and going, oh yeah, they had an Asian adoptive couple for 10 minutes of the show. I just feel like my life is redeemed and I'm validated as a human being now because I had this representation on screen for like 2 scenes. I don't really think they're going to get any reward that would compensate for the amount of people that would attack the fact that they race swapped them in the first place. So I get why the writers didn't do that. I think they're going to make a serious attempt to try and represent both sides of that environment. That they're going to show the very white middle America and try and understand them while also sort of understanding the city slickers, because you saw that conflict in the second episode, and I think they portrayed. I came from the country. I hate the country. I'm a city person, and I always look at the country people as rednecks. I know that's my issue. I think it's mostly true, but I know it's my issue. And I look at this guy as a redneck, but you see in his portrayal that he's afraid, that he's fighting for his community to survive, and he's willing to sacrifice a few things for survival. And that is the state a lot of people are living in. It's not racism. It's not that they don't care about other people. It's they're trying to survive, and they're only being given a few options. And the only people that seem to care about them or speak to them are the racists. And those are people, and the right wing, the extreme right. But you kind of throw all them all together. And that's why they're going with that side, and because they're the ones who are actually, and God help me for mentioning Megan McCain, But Meghan McCain brings it up all the time on The View, that no one's listening to these people, that's why they go to Trump. They're told they're stupid, they're racist, they're basically not worth the time of day because they don't think like the left. So where do they end up? With the extreme right, because they're the ones who are smart enough to take them and militarize them and use them, which is what they're doing. So there's a lot of politics happening, there's a lot of drama happening, and I was just hoping we could have one show without any of this, but it's a thing. So I did sort of notice this, and I'm like, oh, please let people not get on this, let it just slide by. I'm sure this black character will like calm down and start being a nice guy, and I'm sure the black villain, the black Lex Luthor, is going to be this real hero in a way, because he's trying, in his mind at least, and we'll be able to see that's how, at least in his world, he's actually acting. He's not just a generic black because it's more threatening villain sort of thing, which is what they used to do back in the day. They'd script and hire black people to be the villains because they just scared the white people. It's not that simple. So I'm hoping that they can work with this nuance and work with these ideas, and the show will go on and be brilliant. A lot of people are saying, okay, it's good now, but eventually the CW will woke it up and they'll ruin it. Because the idea is that's what they did with the other shows. Now, I haven't watched the latest seasons of any of the shows like Supergirl or The Flash, so I don't know if this is true, because frankly, a lot of the sort of extreme right-leaning YouTubers and Phantom Menace people, they do like their fake news and they do like to speak to their base over reality. So I have to go back and rewatch a lot of things with a neutral, objective view, and watch these new shows in the same way and do my own sort of views. And I can't sort of listen to them objective. I have to be objective with them. I can't just listen to them. I have to question what they're saying and why they're saying it, which takes a lot of the fun out of their videos and stuff. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I just want to talk about this. I just sort of was waiting until a few more people talked about it. I just want to see what the climate was before I sort of talked about it. But yeah, I just want the show to be good. I don't think there's any real issues, and I don't want people to make an issue out of any of this stuff. I'm going to go though. Thanks. Bye.